let's draw together the major organ of the integumentary system, the skin. So we'll start with the most superficial layer, which is called the epidermis. Then we have the middle layer, which is called the dermis, and the deepest layer, which is called the hypodermis. The hypodermis is characterized by fat or adipose tissue. Sometimes you hear the hypodermis called the subcutaneous layer, and this is clinically important because this is where you give sub-Q injections or subcutaneous injections. It's called the subcutaneous layer because the epidermis and the dermis together form the cutaneous membrane of your body. Let's look at the epidermis now, the outermost layer. This one will have 5 layers. Now, the first layer is called stratum corneum. This is the one that's just dead cells that you slough off. Then, if we're talking about thick skin, like the palms of your hands or the soles of your feet, you'll have a layer called stratum lucidum. It's made mostly of keratin to keep it really tough and kind of waterproof. Then you'll have stratum granulosum, spinosum, and finally basale. Stratum basale is going to be the layer that does mitosis. So when your skin needs to replenish itself or repair itself, this layer is going to go through mitosis, and all of these skin cells will push up through the epidermis until they finally die, become stratum corneum, and slough off of your body. Now let's look at all the different things that we find in the dermis. The first thing we'll talk about is the hair follicle. The hair follicle is kind of like the housing for the hair shaft. So when I look at a hair follicle, it goes deep within the skin, and we'll have the hair shaft within it. The hair shaft is going to be what you're seeing coming out on the surface of the skin as just hair. Now, associated with that hair follicle is going to be a couple different glands. One gland is called the sebaceous gland. The sebaceous gland is going to secrete oil right onto that hair. It's going to keep that hair from getting too brittle. You can also have a sweat gland associated with that hair follicle, or it can just go right up to the surface of the skin and release sweat through a pore to the surface of your skin. We also have an erector pili muscle. Now, the erector pili muscle is going to contract, and when it contracts, it will create a pucker of skin up here that you know of as a goosebump. We also have a couple of nerves associated with the skin. One of them is called Meissner's corpuscles. This is going to be closest to the epidermis, and it's going to send signals about touch. Then we have the Pacinian corpuscles. These are a lot deeper in the dermis, and they're going to send information about pressure. So that sums up very briefly all the structures that we find within your skin.